episode on Sleepy Hollow, and what do we got going on here? I'm making dog food for our two Great Pyrenees. Now, we don't feed them, well, we do feed them. We feed them all kinds of things, but what we do is we mix up some vegetables for them to put on top of their kibble. And here we got carrots, turnip, a couple of sweet potatoes, and a great big old squash. I like this kind of squash because it's easy to get the peel off of. And then all the peelings end up in here, and they go up to the garden, and we turn them into compost for our vegetables. So all I do with the carrots is I take the tops off of them. They don't need to be peeled, so it boils up nice. And I cut them so that we can mash them after it's all boiled. Just put them in this big pot for now. And I gotta focus so I don't cut the end of my thumb off like I did a couple of weeks ago. That took a while to get. Right here, just like that, which was fine because it wasn't really bleeding very much. Didn't cut it that deep, but I did go outside and I tried to fix the gate or around the gate, and next thing I know is I give it a whack with a freaking hammer. Then it bled. It bled for a couple of days before we finally got it quit bleeding anyway. So that's the story on that. So, and these will all open up as it's boiling away there. There. This is a great peeler, by the way. The other one don't seem to go so good. You'll probably eat this anyway, but there we go. And I just keep reducing this down into chunks. Okay, here we go. This is my job for the dogs. This here will probably last a couple of weeks, because we only put a little bit on top of their kibble. Now, inside of this, when I go to the city, we go to a place called Victory Meat Market. And it has usually all kinds of organ meats. The store itself is right downtown Fredericton, and there's a lot of new Canadians or immigrants seem to usually live in the downtown areas before they get themselves set up to get better accommodations and stuff like that, and learn how to get around, so forth and that. So they end up shopping at this one particular store. And in the store we can always pick up chicken giblets, we can get the different kinds of livers, pork, beef, lamb, even chicken if I can get them. This is where you get careful. Now, we have been, looking at, can't remember what I was going to say. It's common. Anyway, I'll just reduce this down and we'll go on to the sweet potatoes next. And sometimes we get meat, because we are in a farming area. Sometimes people are killing their chickens and stuff like that. We'll go down there and we'll get the necks for the boys, and we'll get all the chicken feed. And I showed a video here just a little while ago about those guys eating chicken feed. It don't take them very long to eat one of them when they're all frozen. There we go. Boys are rambunctious. It's been awful humid around here. Nobody wants to go out, so they get bored, then they want to start playing around, and then they get buggy. So we end up having to do things with them, which is not a bad thing. You're going to have a pet, you should do things with them. Keep them busy, keep them happy, keep them occupied. So, with the meats that we get, and sometimes we get them from River Haven Farms, they might say kill a beef, and we get all the bones, and I made a video on that. We take all the meat off of it, we boil it up. Now these dogs will drink, when we boil this, they'll drink the water from it, after it cools down, of course. They love that. And same thing when we're boiling meat and that. Ice will sit there at when the kitchen's that way. He'll sit there at the counter waiting for the pot to come down onto the floor, and he'll drink it. And he'll sit there and he'll cry for friggin' hours if you don't give it to him. So we're quite fortunate too. The dogs aren't counter surfing. They don't jump up and grab stuff. They don't really like much in the way of raw vegetables, but they will eat strawberries. They'll eat raspberries, the blackberries. They'll pick them off with their little lips there, right off the plants, which is good. Geez, I wonder how long it'll take before I whack my fingers. Oh! And yet, probably wondering what the hell I was wearing here. I don't know if you could see it from there or not when I sat down. It's, when I was teaching in the Middle East, my wife bought me one. And they're very comfortable to wear, actually. You just put your underwear on and you throw one of these gowns on. I don't think twice of walking up the driveway to go get the mail or put the garbage can up there or whatever. I don't wear it in the city, and I don't wear it out in public. Anybody that's worked on our house here and stuff like that usually ends up seeing me walking around in one of these gowns. They're really comfortable. It's like a t-shirt that goes down to the ground. That's how I look at it. I got about a dozen of these things hanging out in the closet, and I rotate them. So, and they're comfortable. I even sleep with the thing on. Normally we don't go outside with it. The humidity around here is a killer though this summer. And it's been really bothering me. Last year, or the year before, I can't remember, I had to go on a puffer to help me breathe, to help break up the phlegm down deep in my lungs. And right now I got to use it about 3 times a day. Oh, there goes Storm. He's looking for something. I think the wife took Ice out for a walk. If I get this done, I'll take the other guy out, and then I'll start cleaning up the area where the new woodshed's supposed to be built. I'm doing a lot of work lately. I'm not doing any fun stuff. But there we go. Don't tell the dogs that I fell on the floor. I don't think they'll know the difference anyway. So there we go. Getting there. So this big pot here, we'll just throw into another big pot. And we'll boil it for however long it takes. these guys, they can't get to the kibble until they eat through the vegetables. And tomorrow is the beginning of July or August. We've got to give them their flea and tick medicine. Ice is pretty smart. He don't like it. He'll eat every... Storm! Come here. What are you crying for? Here, sit here. Sit here. Look pretty. Look the camera. Yeah, see the camera? What is that? Don't knock it over. That's okay. You get underneath there. Now, Storm, he's our main guard dog around the house here, on the property. He sure doesn't like the thunder. He hears that thunder. If I'm at my desk in the library, he'll come running in and head right underneath it. The other guy's not affected by it at all. He's got his own oddball stuff going on. There sure is an awful lot of hair on the floor. We comb them every day. Every couple of months we take them to the groomer to clean them up even more. And they still shed like crazy. Alright, doing good so far. No accidents. Alright. Enough. I've got like a little plastic garbage can, I don't know how to describe it. It's only about this big and about that round with a good lid on it. And all these peelings go in there. And when that fills up, I take it up and put it in the compost bin. And I'll either throw some sawdust over top of it if there's any close by, or I put just shovel up some dirt over top of it. The idea is to get the compost bin, which I'm going to replace. It's an old plastic thing I got from my mother-in-law, and it doesn't work that good actually. But I'll build a proper one, not a better one, just a proper one, and we'll use that in our garden. We got. You'll see when I cut the squash up, this is sweet potato by the way, when I cut the squash up, the seeds, I just throw them in there as well. And we got random squash growing in the garden. Hopefully my corn will recover. We've been had a big windstorm and a heavy rain the other night, and my corn all flattened down. And it looked like we were going to have a bumper crop of corn this year until that happened. But I checked it yesterday when we went for our walk and took a look, and it looks like it's trying to do its best to stand back up. Which is actually a miracle in itself when you consider that it was flat to it was right on the ground. All right. She took the noisy one out, and things have settled down in here. Man, what a sucky dog that guy is. Love him to death, though. And a few years ago, I was really sick. I had some kind of a virus that they didn't figure out what went through me, and they tested me for all kinds of things. Lyme's disease, Rocky Mountain spotted fever. And they never did find out what was wrong. Of course, it was before the COVID days. But anyway, it was then that I figured that I wasn't feeling all that good, and I thought, if I'm ever going to get a dog, I better get one now to enjoy. And that's when we picked up Storm. And he really helped because I was having a hard time walking everywhere I went. I had to using a cane. And with the videos, you can't tell that anymore. I had a problem with my hands, my feet, and but with Storm, we would go out for walks all the time. And the same walk that we went on yesterday, and it was really therapeutic. So if you got a dog, nothing makes a dog happier than if you take him out for a walk. Now with Storm, when we took him out there, excuse me, we'd sit there quietly in the woods. I had chairs and stuff like that set up close to where the bench is, and I'd go, listen, quietly, and then you could tell he picked up on what I meant, and we would, you could hear the trucks and stuff like that, and ATVs going in the woods. And once you started listening in a certain direction, he would look in that direction too. He would look where I was looking, and then he'd understand that I was concerned about some kind of noise. And he was pretty good about sticking around fairly close. I have an early video called The Guardian of Sheepy Hollow, and I think he was around 6 or 7 months old, somewhere around that. And you could see the guarding instinct in these animals right off the bat. Look at that, eh? Just peels like nothing. I suppose there's some kind of a secret trick that if you put it in the freezer and threw it in a pot of boiling water, the skin would fall off and I wouldn't have to do this, but this is what I got to do what we know. Stick with what's known. So anyway, after Storm, we decided we'd get another one. And this pup came from the same parents, but the next litter. And he may have, well, some of his litter mates were frozen because the mother had she was what they call an outdoor guardian dog, right? They live in a barn protecting the sheep that's in the barn in the wintertime. And it was like 40 below out, and some of his litter mates froze to death. And we didn't notice this at first, but when we when we did discover it, I discovered his tail on the end is broken. So that last little piece is like that. It was kind of neat. We don't know how that happened. Maybe it was stepped on or something. These old root plants are tough. Okay. This is a great way to get a belly full of knife. It's just they call that a wedge. It's like cutting trees. Alright, now that won't roll around on me. We'll probably have to turn up the audio so that you can hear what I'm saying. In the video, when I produce it later, it's still blinking. What luck. Alright. So, hopefully, this is somewhat interesting. And I got to figure out a title for it later. We'll do that. And I got to go out and start clearing out more of that bush around where we're going to put the old woodshed, which is happening tomorrow morning. Sunday, I might be going fishing. If not, I'll have to wait to the next week. I don't really want to go out there if it's like 85 degrees sitting in a boat out in the sun. I wouldn't find that too comfortable. And I'm dead serious. Usually when I go fishing, I'd usually like to go fishing. It's just not a sit in the boat kind of a day. And they have smallmouth bass. I suspect a few trout in there. And some salmon, landlocked salmon. It's called Oromoncto Lake. If you looked it up, Oromoncton or Oromoncto. Sorry about that. Lake. It's south of Fredericton. We have some friends that have a house on the lake. Next door they got a camp, so if we were to stay, go out and visit and stay, we could stay in their camp. But these two big dogs, we don't usually take them very far from here. Storm might decide to mark his territory on your corner of your couch. Or something like that. So to avoid the embarrassment and the shock, I don't want to bring them to people's homes. And when they do it, they just do it like they do it. They don't care one way or another. Doesn't seem to bother them that they peed on your couch. And of course, if there's any other pets there, you never know what's going to happen, so it's best to make it safe. So look at this. Hope this isn't a painful video, and you enjoyed it. Chances are I'm not in frame for the whole thing. Now this is the hard part, or this is the worst part of the squash. But luckily, this thing works like magic. And I can gut this squash real easy. My wife and I don't really eat squash. We did try a spaghetti one or whatever. Tasted all right, I guess, but I'd rather avoid these parsnips. I'm not big on Brussels sprouts. My wife likes asparagus. I'm not too keen on that either. Now this is what cut my thumb the last time, this thing. Ooh. And we're not much for cats. When we bought this house, our previous owner, the kind of cats, they were all over the place in here and they kind of marked it up pretty bad. So we had to replace quite a bit of wood and flooring and whatnot. There. Oops, put that off of there before it stains, and then I'll have to answer to the courts. What do you think of that? And this is quickly coming to the end of the video. Now, it's hard to make things interesting and spectacular all the time, and I hope you guys and ladies, you gals are enjoying it. I've only got a couple of younger people that watch the videos. According to, was it YouTube Analytics? I started looking at that a little bit, and I think Most of my audience comes from United States. We're all 65 years old and older, a few 50-year-olds and up, and a couple of ladies. That's it. I do tend to watch my mouth, because I can cuss with the best of them, but I don't think it's an appropriate thing to do online. Even Facebook. I don't usually follow those kinds of pages anymore. Not interested. Well, there we go, and that's the end of that. So those vegetables are ready for the big pot. And that's the end of the video. There. I hope that you enjoyed me whacking up these vegetables for the dogs. And maybe I'll make another video today to add to this one. But in the meantime, you guys have a great day. Guys and gals, this is the same thing. We'll just shorten it up to guys. Or you folks. Have a great day, and we'll see you in the next video, which I hope comes soon. Toodaloo. Okay, quickly, here's the broth and the boiled kidneys that will end up with the ready to boil sweet potatoes and turnip, etc. And it gets mashed up, and we add in the organ meats, then the kibble, and I got some watermelon for me for later. I did this, what?